Let's look at the measurement of angles and the measurement of time and see what they have in common, because it's time for us to learn how to divide degrees up into minutes and seconds. So let's have a look at where that comes from. Now, all of our timescales actually have a lot to do with angles because they're all to do with revolutions of things. And when things turn, they turn through various angles. Think about 1 year. It's one revolution of our Earth all the way around the sun. 1 day is one revolution of our Earth on its own axis. And then we've divided those timescales up into these numbers, which are not decimal. They're really based on 360. And 360 is a nice, simple number to divide up. 24 15s makes 360. So of the 24 1-hour lines of longitude around the planet, each one is 15 degrees. You can also divide 360 up very nicely into 6 60s, and 60 divides up very nicely into 12 5s. And you'll even see that our measurement of time on an analog clock is involved with angles. We can see this angle and know how much time has passed. It's again based on one revolution. But why 360? Well, here is where some of the error comes in with measuring things with degrees. It actually takes 365 and a quarter days for our Earth to go all the way around the sun, which is not 360. But somebody a long, long time ago has obviously rounded this off and said, well, this is a bit of an awkward number. Let's round it off to 360, which is much easier to divide up, and then we can make all our timescales based on this. So it's a little bit of a sketchy foundation to build things on when it's actually not correct. And sailors at sea who are navigating by longitude have to actually work this out. When they see where they are and plot their position, they need to put their position into quite a complicated little algorithm to account for this error. Now, back to dividing up our angles. Why divide them into minutes and seconds? Well, just as our time scales are divided in ways that are not really decimal, we divide degrees the same way. 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in a degree. So if you take an angle, like say I've just drawn this angle and I've measured it with my protractor, or perhaps I've worked this angle out as the answer to a trig problem, and I've got 46.2 degrees here. I could also say that's 46 1/5 of a degree. We're quite comfortable so far with decimals and with fractions. But to break things into minutes and seconds just means changing them into 60ths, and then if you don't have a whole number of 60ths, 60ths of those 60ths. So one like 46 1/5 would be 46 12/60ths of a degree. So you'd write that as 46 degrees and 12 minutes. And minutes has just one dash there. Now if you need seconds, you use 2 dashes for your seconds.